Hi guys, it's Shell, Sunbury Housewives. Welcome back to another video. If you're new to our channel, thank you so much for stopping by. Hit the subscribe button to see future videos. I post videos every Wednesday and Saturday. So today I have the cutest Halloween tumbler tutorial for you. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm starting with a 20-ounce sublimation tumbler. It's already white, so I didn't need to paint it. But I am painting it with 4 different colors, this purple, this magenta pink, and then an orange and a black. And I'm going to kind of ombre them because I want the glitter that I put on top of this to really stand out and be vibrant. So instead of just using the white base, I am going to paint this. So I'm starting out with the purple, and I'm not trying to be perfect. I'm just going around making sure to lay the foundation before I try to blend any of these colors in. And like I said, the colors that I use for the most part are going to cover up this paint anyway, but this just helps make it more vibrant. So I started with the purple, and once I was done with that, I move into this magenta pink. And I go below it and just get a good base laid down before I try to blend the magenta and the purple together. And I'm just using these cheap Wet n Wild makeup brushes from Dollar Tree, which is the perfect thing to paint with. I use these for just about everything. So once I get the magenta laid down, then I'm going to start blending the two colors together so that it will, what's the word I'm looking for? Look more cohesive. So here I'm just going to put out a little bit of purple and magenta on my parchment paper here and dip them into both colors so that I can really get that good blend going between the two. This, like I said, this does not have to be perfect. Now, the only color that kind of needed to be a little more solid, the paint job, is the orange, because the orange glitter that I have, it's not the best. So I'm just switching back and forth between the magenta and the purple just to get a very good base. So now I'm going to go ahead and switch to the orange, and I'm going to do the same thing here. Just get a nice base around, and then I will blend up into the pink. I wanted the orange to have a little bit more than the rest of the colors. I felt like the orange sky for Halloween is more prominent usually. I don't know. In my mind, that's how it is. So I'm just speeding this up. I'm starting with the black, and I just take it up, and then I will end up pulling the orange down into the black and blending them two together. And that's what I'm doing here, just mixing the two and blending it together. And I guess it's kind of an ombre, but not fully. But I kind of started to like some of the different tones in the orange to make it almost look like a real sky. But I did add more orange, but I didn't want it to be so solid that it was just no texture to it, especially because the orange glitter that I had for this, really, it's not the best. So as you can see, I'm not too worried about the pink and the magenta, but the orange has more coverage, but you can still see some different variants of orange color in there. Once that's dry, I did do about 5 milliliters of epoxy and put that onto a very, very thin coat onto my tumbler. And then I'm going to go ahead and start laying my glitter. I'm starting with the black, and I'm just being very careful, making sure I get the bottom and the rim before I start to ombre it into the orange. I did not want so much black going into the orange glitter-wise, but just enough that you could tell it looked like one cohesive piece. So that's what I'm doing here. And then I'm tilting my tumbler at like a 45-degree angle, and I'm pointing my glitter at the very bottom rim. So then I'm going to move up to the top and use the purple and do the same thing, but I will point my tumbler down in order to kind of ombre that into the pink. But for right now, before I'm actually going full force ombreing, I'm just laying down the foundation of it. And then I'll move into the magenta, and I'm going just in a line, and then I will tilt my tumbler both directions to get it either to go up into the purple, and then once that's done, I will lightly have it go into the orange. And I'm just tapping so that, and you can't tell from this angle, but I'm holding my glitter bottle up pretty high. But I'm just tapping it so that it doesn't just come out and cover the entire tumbler. So once I get that done, I'm going to move into this orange. And this orange, it's some kit I got off of eBay. It's not the best glitter, but it does work. And it's fine, like a fine cut. And it has a little bit of like almost a green or yellow shift into it. So I thought that was pretty cool for this guy as well. So I'm doing the same thing here, tilting my tumbler, going up into the pink, and then I'll tilt down and going into the black. And I much rather have the orange going into the black more than the black going into the orange, if that makes any sense at all. Because where you see the darker, it just looks like the sky is blending into each other. So that's exactly what I wanted. And then I'm going to keep going back and forth and blending those until I'm extremely happy with how that all starts to look. And everything that I use will be in the description box below. I cannot offhand remember exactly which colors these are. So then, once again, up at the top in purple, and this is where I'm really going to start blending the colors together and make it really a nice ombre. I'm not the best at ombre, but I make it by. So I've tapped off all my excess, and I stick it in a dumb cup. And then going into the pink and back into the orange and up into the purple. And I just keep doing this until I'm extremely happy. This only needed the one coat, and then I was able to seal this 2 times with 2 times Rust-Oleum clear spray, and then I epoxied it twice. Actually, I only epoxied it once. I only needed it. So then I cut out a big circle. This is going to be the moon, and I'm using my tack it over and over, and I'm going to do 2 coats on this. I left it onto the vinyl backing so that I could put some glow-in-the-dark powder onto it so that I would not mess up the tumbler at all. I thought this was the best option to do. I mean, I've done this before plenty of times with either glitter or with gold flakes. So I figured it would also work with the glow powder. So once that was done with my 2 coats and let that dry, so it's just now tacky, I'm going to take the outer portion of this off so that nothing sticks to it. And then I will take my glow powder. This is white glow powder by the Glitter Heart Co. And I just dump it on there and kind of burnish it down. Now, by doing this, it covered the entire moon, but in some spots was heavier than others. And later, once you see, it gives the most amazing, coolest effect. So I'm just going to continue to burnish this down. And then once I do get us all burnished down, I do end up sealing this with my 2x Rust-Oleum clear spray, just so that I knew it wasn't going to move anywhere, so that when I go to put it on my tumbler. So just doing that, and then once the, there's the 2x, and so I took it outside and sprayed it. Once the, that was dry, I'm placing my haunted house on because I want to know where I want to place my moon. I knew I wanted it semi-high, and peeking out from underneath the house. So I'm just kind of looking to see what I think of that placement. And then I'm going to tape this down and remove my house. And then I'm going to pull back one piece of the tape and cut off just a sliver of that backing. So I can kind of do the hinge method to lay this down so that I don't get a whole lot of bubbles in it, and it stays exactly where I wanted it to stay. So I'm going to pull off the rest of the tape and lay down the moon. And I got very few bubbles in it by doing it this way. And once I get this all laid down, I just take my weeding pen and pop those bubbles that were in there. So then I give this just one coat of epoxy, but while the epoxy's still wet, I'm taking whatever epoxy I had left over, which was not much, and I'm mixing this charcoal black or charcoal gray mica powder in it, and I'm going to give the sky some eerie clouds and do some over the moon as well. So I'm going to mix that into the epoxy, and then I will put on a glove and just use my finger to dip into the epoxy and just kind of blotch it on there. Blotch, is that a word? Yeah, I think it is. But anyway, just sort of swipe it on there randomly. I was focusing mainly on the moon at first, and then I started doing the rest of it. And some of it you can't see, but I mean, when you're really looking at the tumbler in person, you can definitely see the clouds. And then I didn't want it to pull up, and I wanted it to kind of look wispy, so they looked ominous. So that's what I am doing here. And once I was done with that, I let this spin on the turner for, actually this one I think I only did for 2 hours because this was speedy peedy. Once that was done, now it was time to put on my haunted house. And as you can see, there's a little cutout, and you'll see why later. There was a ghost in there, and I took him out because I need to do other things first. So anyway, I'm lining up this house so that I know that that kind of meets up evenly in the back. It didn't go all the way around, which was fine with me. The main focus is the front of the tumbler anyway. So I place it down and make sure that it's at least even and straight as could be. And once it's done with that, I pull off the little sliver that I had cut off, and it meets up. So I lay that down, pull that off, and I'm going to start smoothing my decal onto the tumbler. And I'm using my squeegee here, and I found this to be the most amazing way to put this on. And make sure when you do this that you pull up that top transfer sheet first before you lay down your second half. But anyway, smooth that all down, and then I pull off my transfer sheet. And so far, I'm already loving how this is turning out. But as you can see, the moon is showing through the windows. And usually, you can't see the moon through your windows. But what I had done, here first. I don't like that the ends were just like a solid straight line. So I kind of squiggled them a little bit. You can't really even see it because it's black on black. So, but I could see it. And so I had to do that. So I did cut those so that they kind of went down at an angle. And then I'm going to do the windows. So I cut out in this yellow glow-in-the-dark vinyl. And I'm going to place the little window panes and the door into all the slots that they need to go in. And then I get the door put on, and now I'm putting my ghost back in. He's so cute. So then I'm only going to show you a few of the windows that I did, because this actually, I needed to get up on it and my head would have been in the way. So I only showed you a few of them. But the little window pane parts you see of the black panes, I had to make sure that all of those were lined up. So yeah, this took a lot of concentration. So I'm just showing you that I did a couple of those. And then once that was done, I did seal this, but I'm not there yet, so let's not go there. I'm still putting this on. But anyway, I still have to do the bats. I had cut out bats also in black, and I'm just going to put these sporadically through it over the tumbler. And I got all of these decals, except for the moon. I just did a circle in my silhouette cameo, or silhouette studio. But the other decals, I believe I got off of Creative Fabrica. So, yeah. But anyway, once I get all of the bats placed down, there is so much vinyl work on this. I do not want any of it lifting when I go to do my last 2 coats of epoxy. So what I did was, after I got all this on, made sure everything was laid down correctly, I am going to seal this with a coat of Ccdiy quick coat to make sure that none of my vinyl lifts up when it's time to do my final coats of epoxy. This only took maybe at most a half an hour for it to dry. And then I put my 2 last coats of epoxy on. And here's the tumbler. This is my bathroom. Please excuse it, but this is the best place I could get for the lighting. Look how amazing this looks. Look at that. Look at the moon detail. I'm telling you, it's stunning. I hope you really enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a great big thumbs up. This will be available on the website, so make sure you check out the description box. Thanks, guys, and I will see you guys next time. Bye, guys.